In this life, there are moments, however fleeting, that can change everything, tearing apart the facade of a seemingly peaceful existence. This is the story of a woman named Eleanor Vance, a person you might pass on the street and never guess the tragedy she carries. Eleanor isn't a hero from a movie, nor a character from a novel. She's just a retired history teacher with hair as white as snow, always neatly tied in a bun, and deep blue eyes that hold an unspeakable sadness. She lives alone in a small red brick house in a quiet suburban town in Maine, where lighthouses stand tall on the coast, like silent sentinels. Eleanor's life flows placidly, as regular as the waves that crash on the shore. Every morning, she wakes up, brews a cup of Earl Grey tea, and sits on her porch to watch the rose garden she has tended for over 40 years. This life could have been a perfect picture of tranquil old age, if not for a dark spot, a void that could never be filled. 30 years ago, on a torrential summer night, Eleanor's only daughter, Lily, vanished. She was just 5 years old then, with golden hair and a smile as bright as the sun. Lily disappeared from the backyard of their home, and all searches yielded no results. The police called it a mysterious case, a disappearance without a trace. Even after 3 decades, Eleanor kept Lily's room exactly as it was. The old dolls still lay on the bed, the scribbled coloring pages were still taped to the wall, and a small blue dress still hung in the closet. Every time she looked at these things, Eleanor's heart ached. The pain had become a part of her, like a shadow that never leaves. One day, as Eleanor was cleaning the house, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. It was a young woman with fiery red hair and warm brown eyes. She wore a black leather jacket and carried a worn backpack. Eleanor had never seen this girl before. The girl stood there, in the late afternoon sun, and Eleanor felt a strange jolt run down her spine. "You're Eleanor Vance, aren't you?" the girl asked, her voice trembling but firm. Eleanor nodded. The girl took a deep breath, her eyes welling up with tears, and said the words Eleanor had been both hoping for and dreading for 30 years. "I'm Lily, your daughter." It was a strange moment, a mix of relief and profound fear. Eleanor's heart, which had been numb from pain, now pounded wildly like a caged bird. She stared at the girl, trying to find any sign of the little Lily. But there was nothing. The golden hair was replaced by a fiery red. Her blue eyes and Lily's were replaced by brown. The face was strange, completely strange. What are you talking about?" Eleanor stammered, her voice shaking. The girl stepped closer, pulling a small, old box from her backpack. She opened it, and inside was a small silver heart-shaped necklace. It was the 5th birthday gift Eleanor had given to Lily. "You gave this to me on my 5th birthday," the girl said, her voice catching. "I've worn it ever since, and it helped me survive those terrifying years." Tears streamed down Eleanor's face. She reached out, touched the familiar necklace, and felt the warmth from the girl's hand. A part of her wanted to believe. A part of her wanted to hold this girl tightly and never let go. But another part was cold and cautious. 30 years had taught her not to believe in miracles. But what about the truth? In the next part, we will explore this girl's story, the secrets behind the necklace, and whether Eleanor can truly find her long-lost child after all these years of sorrow. Don't go anywhere, because this story has only just begun. That night, Eleanor invited the girl into her house. She introduced herself as Anya, and the story Anya told was filled with details only a mother and daughter could know. From the name of Lily's old pet dog, a golden retriever named Max, to the small scar on Lily's knee from a bicycle fall, Anya recounted every detail precisely. Eleanor felt like she was reliving the past. A painful past, but one that now offered a faint glimmer of hope. Anya said that on that fateful night, she was kidnapped by a strange woman. The woman didn't seem scary. She simply appeared from the shadows, offered Lily a piece of candy, and when the little girl took it, a cloth soaked in a sedative was pressed to her face. When Lily woke up, she was in an old van, on the way to a strange city. Anya talked about the years she spent in a run-down orphanage and then being adopted by a family. But life with the new family was not happy. Her adoptive mother always called her the red-headed girl, and she always felt like a stranger in her own home. Eleanor listened to Anya's every word, her heart sometimes aching, sometimes hopeful. But then a sudden question came to her mind. Why didn't you come back sooner? Anya looked at Eleanor with sad eyes. I tried. Many times. But she, the woman who kidnapped me, she never let me go. She said she would find and harm you if I ran away. When she passed away a year ago, I finally had a chance to find you. Eleanor was silent. Anya's story was too perfect, too detailed. But Eleanor couldn't ignore one fact. Her daughter Lily had golden hair. Anya had fiery red hair. Eleanor asked Anya about this difference. Anya gave a bitter smile. When my adoptive mother took me, she dyed my hair this color. She said my golden hair was too easy to identify. She wanted me to become someone else. Eleanor didn't know what to believe. Every time she started to doubt, Anya would bring up a new detail, a memory only they shared. But then an event occurred that forced Eleanor to ask a bigger question. That night, as Eleanor was looking through old photos of Lily, she discovered something strange. In all the pictures, Lily always had a small star-shaped birthmark on her wrist. But Anya didn't have that birthmark. When Eleanor asked Anya about it, she just looked down, her voice becoming very quiet. I don't know. Maybe it disappeared over time? That was too simple, too unconvincing an answer. Eleanor could never forget that birthmark. She had once told Lily that it was a special sign, a little star just for her. The absence of the birthmark planted a seed of doubt in Eleanor's heart, a seed that grew in the darkness. Was Anya really Lily? Or was she just a clever imposter, exploiting a mother's pain for some purpose? Eleanor's pain was once again brought to the surface. She looked into Anya's eyes that she had once seen sincerity in, now held a secret. Could Eleanor find the truth? Could she accept a truth more cruel than the pain she had already endured? We will find the answer in the next part, as the story takes a completely unexpected turn. Eleanor's suspicions spurred her into action. She could no longer accept Anya's vague answers. She knew she had to find the truth, no matter how devastating it was. Eleanor decided to contact a private investigator. The detective, a middle-aged man named Marcus, specialized in missing person cases. He listened to Eleanor's story patiently and then agreed to help her. Marcus began his investigation, and what he found sent shivers down both Eleanor's and the audience's spines. Marcus found Anya's records. Her real name was Amanda, and she wasn't an orphan. Amanda had been adopted from an orphanage in another state, and her adoptive parents were still alive. When Marcus contacted them, they confirmed that Amanda had run away years ago. They said she was a fraudster, always looking for ways to exploit others for money. When Marcus presented this evidence, Eleanor collapsed. Her heart broke once again, but this time it was because of betrayal. This pain was more profound than the pain of Lily's disappearance, because it came with a false sense of hope. Eleanor confronted Anya, and she could no longer deny it. Why? Eleanor asked, tears streaming down her cheeks. Why did you do this? Anya, or rather Amanda, bowed her head. Her voice was small, weak. I needed money. My adoptive parents died, and I had no one. I researched your daughter's disappearance. I thought you would be the easiest person to deceive. I'm sorry. Amanda's confession made everything fall apart. Eleanor felt like she had just gone through a nightmare. But the story didn't end there. As Eleanor was about to chase Amanda out of the house, she suddenly stopped and said something that stunned Eleanor. She told me about what happened to Lily. Eleanor looked at Amanda. Who? The one who kidnapped me. She lived in an orphanage. She always said she did something terrible to a little blonde girl, and that she buried the little girl somewhere. Amanda's words were like a knife cutting into Eleanor's heart. Could this be the truth? Or just another lie? Fear and hope once again mixed. Eleanor had to face a difficult choice: believe the words of a fraudster or ignore a clue that could lead to the truth about her daughter. Eleanor looked into Amanda's eyes. She no longer had the confident, cunning look from before. Instead, there was fear. Where did she bury the little girl? Eleanor asked, her voice trembling. Amanda shook her head. I don't know. She just said it was a dark, cold place and that no one would ever find it. Eleanor called Detective Marcus again. Together, they began to investigate the woman who had kidnapped Amanda. Her name was Evelyn. Evelyn had died a year ago, but her old documents and diaries were still around. And on one page of her diary, they found a crucial clue: what I did in the woods to that little blonde girl. It was terrible. That grave, it's under a broken pine tree. Evelyn's words led Eleanor and Marcus to a nearby forest. They walked deep into the woods, Eleanor's heart pounding. And then, they found it. A broken pine tree, and at its base was a small grave. When they dug, an old, rotten wooden box appeared. Inside was a faded little blue dress. It was the dress Eleanor had bought for Lily on her 5th birthday. And as they continued to dig, an even more terrifying truth was uncovered. A truth that Eleanor had always feared, and now it had become a reality. In that rotten wooden box, there was not only the dress Eleanor had bought for her daughter, but also a small, yellowed diary. It was Lily's own diary. With a child's innocent but pained voice, Lily recounted her final moments. She was kidnapped by a woman and then abandoned in the woods. Lily tried to find her way home, but she was too small, too scared, and eventually, she was exhausted. Lily wrote her last lines in the diary, saying that she missed her mother, her home, and her dolls. Eleanor held the diary tightly to her chest, hot tears streaming down her face. The pain was no longer the pain of a disappearance, but the pain of the truth. Lily did not die in an accident or a mysterious disappearance. The little girl died because of a crime. Eleanor had found her daughter, but she had found a grave. Detective Marcus confirmed that what they found was a small skeleton, consistent with Lily's age. The evidence was so clear it was undeniable. Eleanor brought the little girl home and buried her in her rose garden, under the tree where Lily used to play. The pain was still there, but this time, it was accompanied by a sense of peace. Eleanor knew the truth. She no longer had to live in ambiguity. And Amanda, she was released. Eleanor did not press charges. She knew that Amanda was also a victim. She had seen the fear in her eyes, and she understood that Amanda was just trying to survive. Eleanor gave her a new chance, a chance to start her life over. This story is a reminder that life can be very cruel, but it is also full of hope. Eleanor lost her daughter, but she found a truth. And although that truth was devastating, it brought her peace. Her life was no longer a story of loss, but a story of healing. The story of Eleanor and Lily is a story of love, loss, and hope. It shows us that no matter how tragic life can be, we can still find light at the end of the tunnel. Eleanor found peace, and she found a way to live on, to cherish the beautiful memories of her daughter. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss other dramatic stories, and turn on notifications to be alerted whenever a new video is released. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.